Fabulous. Well, welcome. We are delighted that you have chosen to join us on this lovely day. And I am Marianne Barnard. I am a certified SCORE mentor, and I co-mentor with our presenter today, but she is much more than just a mentor. I want to give you a little bit more information before I introduce Cheri. I would like to remind everyone that SCORE is a free service for people across America, and we are delighted to be funded by the Small Business Association, and we also have a very nice cooperative programming arrangement with Constant Contact, who will be helping us with this presentation in terms of some of the content.
Exactly.
Yes. And so I see that you have your screen up, Cheri, and I would like to make a few more points here. We will be, excuse me, I'm sorry. We'll be recording this presentation, and you will have access to it in a couple of days. If you have a registered email with us, we'll be happy to send you the link. We'll email it to you. We are unable to hear you because we have muted all the microphones. However, you can always reach out to me as presenter if you have a question or having some technical difficulties, and I will keep my eye out. It's either Mary Ann or I am also known as the screen, Cheri, I am called.
I don't know what they called you this time.
I know. Well, Mary Ann.
Not participant. You are a panelist.
Panelist. Yes. Thank you. We will also have time for questions at about the halfway point and at the end for about 15 minutes. You can also submit questions to me, Mary Ann, or panelist in the Q&A box located at the bottom of the panel screen. At this time, I would really like to introduce Cheri. Cheri Bales has been a SCORE mentor since 2017, and she is the owner of Hannah Gold Communications and has been in business since 1991. She has marketing expertise that reaches far and wide, and we are delighted that she is going to share with us some tips to keep moving through this communication need for our businesses during this pandemic time. So may I turn this over to Cheri, and thank you again for joining us.
See you in a little bit, Marianne. Thank you, everyone, for being here today, and thanks to Marianne. She's our stand-in, maybe regular moderator for these webinars, these weekly webinars. As she said, my name is Cheri Bales. I am a SCORE mentor, and I am also the owner and founder of Hannah Gold Communications, which is a full-service marketing, strategic, social media, website design, anything you need agency, pretty much. I started with SCORE about 4 years ago, and I'm also the marketing chair for the local SCORE chapter of Kalamazoo, Southwest Michigan. So I'm bringing with me today about 30, thanks for pointing it out, about 30 years of experience to the table, and we have an hour, and at the end, as Marianne mentioned, there'll be questions, and I will stay on until about 5:15, although most of our content will be done around 5 or 5:05. I can never quite fit it all in. And with that, let's get started. So the title of this today presentation is called Social Media, Communicating with Social Media During Pandemic Times. We have no idea what we're doing. Let's all just raise a hand, nod our heads, smack ourselves on the forehead, whatever it takes. But just let's admit it, that we don't know what to do. I mean, I don't think that the marketing and PR people who went to school to learn marketing and PR ever thought that they would be posting a "please don't ingest our product as a cure for disease" post on Twitter. So it's a whole new world out there. And while marketing has changed, and it's changed dramatically, I'll give you some examples as we go through today. Social media has become more important than ever to people. And I think we had a huge social media portion of our marketing going. Most of us had some Facebook going, maybe Instagram. You know, and your question today might be, should we still do that? Should we still be doing that? Should we still be talking to people? I mean, there are our ad boycotts and blackout days, and what if you say the wrong thing? And it's really a challenging time with social media. But just keep in mind that whatever we talk about today, social media is still important and relevant. And I'm going to give you some tips, and then I'm going to show you kind of a cool tool. Marianne mentioned we're partners. SCORE is a partner with Constant Contact. I'm also a certified partner with Constant Contact myself. So we have some links that we'll give you in a little bit in the chat room that, or in the chat box, that you can even give Constant Contact a try for free. So here's what we're going to talk about. Tips for marketing your business on social media, ideas to engage without sounding insensitive, and using the Constant Contact social media tools. So basically, people are engaging more online and more in social networks than they ever have before. And there's some interesting stats here I'll read to you. Comcast reports peak internet usage has increased 32% overall and up to 60% in some areas. So that's cable. Video streaming and consumption is up 38%. Compared to TV only going up 7%. So we're not really sitting around watching TV if we're staying at home, or we're still unemployed due to COVID. And AT&T is in a 40% increase in mobile traffic. Yes, I'm seeing that as well. I have clients whose traditional audiences, let's say I send a Constant Contact email blast. The traditional audiences would open that email about 60% on desktop and about 40% on mobile. Now, when I send out a newsletter or a news blast, that number is almost reversed. And not only that, but they've now got a category. We have enough people reporting to track this category. People who are registering for events or emailing us or commenting on us through their tablets. So what does all this mean? Well, it means that a lot more people are shifting their behavior and activity online because, like I said, Comcast is high, video streaming is high, AT&T is high, television traditional is not really going up quite as quickly. So, but getting your message out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all those other things is a lot cheaper than trying to get on TV, trying to run Google ads. Which I'm going to do next week. I'll tell you what that's about in a little while. But the number of reports show that Facebook in particular is seeing a surge in usage. Now, I've been talking about Facebook for years and the 5 big marketing tools that Facebook can bring to the table, and all the different things it can do for small businesses. And now they're saying, oh yeah, it's actually working now. And then that combined with some other marketing tools can really put you in a place to stay front of mind, top of mind, and to keep in touch with your followers, your customers, your potential customers. So most of you probably have seen some sort of a Facebook ad if you're on Facebook. I'm assuming you are because you're taking a social media webinar. You have probably seen a Facebook post for something. And, let's say that you happen to stumble onto Zappos and look at a pair of shoes for a microcosmic second. You can bet the next time you log into Facebook, Zappos is going to show you an ad. Okay, so there's 2 things we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about your Facebook page and your posts and things that you can do on other social media, so your business pages. And then I'm going to also touch a little bit on advertising tools and how you can do that. So those are the statistics out in the big bad world. But now within Constant Contact ourselves, within our own platform, which has social media management, marketing, event planning, we've actually seen users in our social tools increase by 48% from February to March. That wasn't even in COVID. That was an increase that was organic based on some of the new tools that Constant Contact was publishing. And also data shows that social posts in Constant Contact have increased by 31% month over month during that same period. And purchases made through constant contact increased 11%. Ad purchases through constant contact. So what can we talk about that? You know, it's really—
Cheri, excuse me. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Have you advanced your slides?
Yes. Are you stuck? Are you not seeing them? No, I don't hear you even. Let me do it again.
I have another visitor. There we go. Thank you.
Okay, we're still seeing it. Okay, thank you for letting me know. So we talked about this, we talked about— that's really the only thing you didn't see was this picture, I think. So this is good because now you can see what we're talking about, and that's really helpful. So at this point, you know, the basics still ring true despite everything that's going on. People are finding information, they're making purchases. I know we have a lot of nonprofits today. They're also making donations, and I'll try to remind myself to point some of those things out. But really what's important to keep in mind right now, and that's what we're talking about. Number one is being there, being present. If you're not posting on social media, then you can't complain that nothing's happening with your business in regards to generating leads from social media. So if you don't have a Facebook business page, and I did have someone ask me a question about groups versus pages, and I will come back to that, but you must know that your face is not the business page. You need to go to another function in Facebook and actually create a business page, and they will ask you to verify it and make sure that it's really you. So once you have that business page, if you haven't already, then it's about making sure that you're leveraging that page to keep your customers up to date. So for example, here is the AKA kitchen. What's for dinner tonight? All right, now this is something that we're really struggling with as marketers. Do we say the cursed C word? You know, do we actually admit that we know what COVID is in our restaurant or our storefront or our athletic facility? Let's say Michigan's still having some trouble deciding what to open. Our golf course, let's make it a golf course. So staying up to date and being brutally honest and brutally transparent is what's working. So I had a restaurant client that about 2 weeks ago I acquired. They were just getting ready to reopen. They were able to open their carry out, and they really needed some integration work with their website and their point of sale ordering system, and, you know, updating to a new COVID menu. And then they had a positive test in their staff. So then they had to close down. Well, we could have hidden from social media, you know, and just waited to see if maybe people found out and told anyone, and we hoped it didn't get on the media. But we didn't do that. We took a more transparent stance. So we posted a nicely composed, by all the team, nicely composed message that said, you know, here's why we're closing the store, here's how long we're closing it, here's what we know, here's what we're doing as a matter of rule to keep people safe, and we appreciate the outpouring of support we've received already. That post went viral with over 22,000 views, which for me is pretty viral. I have really small clients. 22,000 views and 4,000 engagements, meaning 4,000 people. And I would say 3,999 clicked the like, the love, the concern, the care, put little face happy emojis, or said, good job, we appreciate what you're doing. Thanks for taking care of your staff. One person said, what day was that? And so, you know, we had a just excellent response to what could have been a horrible, horrible media situation. You know, and as it turned out, we were able to then reroute everyone to the other location for both, for carry out, they held a beer launch party during COVID. We were able to direct people to their location for that. So knowing that you can be honest right now, well, you should be honest all the time, but you can be brutally honest and brutally transparent right now on Facebook, and it will get you fans. I mean, for all intents and purposes, the bar in Lansing that has now 170 cases linked to it being open and not practicing social distancing is not where you want your client to be on the evening news. But so what are we talking about? It's making sure that you're keeping your customers up to date, okay? So you're looking for things that customers might ask you for questions. So La Provence here is delivering more no contact store-to-door orders. So we're telling people with this post, it's not a sales post. There's really no call to action. There's nothing here that says buy now, give. It's down here, but it's not really big up here. What they're doing is they're letting their followers know that they deliver, number one, and number two, that they will bring it store to door. I guess that is delivery, that they have no contact store to door delivery. So that's really important, and that's really, you know, really letting people know what you're doing. Over here, we've got, this is Brian Kaplan Marketing. It looks like he is helping people apply for the Small Business CARES Act loans, the PPP loan and the EIDL loan. And so he has got a watch quick video as up here and learn how you can apply for a $10,000. I'm pretty sure this says EIDL loan after this. So let's go back to the kitchen and the delivery service here. If you saw this on Facebook, think about how it would make you feel. Looking for better ways to serve you and your families during the COVID crisis quarantine. I think that would generate a pretty nice feeling for me. So we need to keep in mind that its number one importance is to keep people informed. So sharing helpful content is important, your hours, your delivery. It's not a sign of weakness to say you're struggling right now. I read a post from another area restaurant that was heartbreaking. You know, we were doing just delivery, then we opened and we had 50% dine-in, and then we just can't, and they, you know, they just said, we just can't do it. We have to go back to just carry out. So, you know, that makes it tough, but it's not a sign of weakness. Spell it out. Let your audience see a little bit of your vulnerability, and as such, choose to support you more than likely. All right, so what about marketing a product or service when you're really not considered an essential business? And we're pretty much off of that essential business problem here in Michigan, but I am cognizant and well aware that there are other states that are going back into other phases. Sausalito out in California, we have someone from there today. Yeah, you know, what are you going to do? It is okay to keep marketing, even if you're not opened, or if you're closed by some government statute or another, or if you're closed because you don't have enough staff. This is a problem that a lot of small business owners are facing right now. It's not enough staff. So here's my thoughts about marketing right now, whether you're essential or not. And as I said, you're going to go into phases, 3, 2, 1, or 5, whichever way your state goes. But yes, you should be marketing right now. You are a business. And as such a business or a nonprofit organization, you are planning to be here when this is over for people, and planning to be there for them right now as we begin venturing out of our homes, you know, kind of like little Puxatawney Phil in the spring. Some of us still haven't been too far from our home base, but we want to be strategic as a company to position our messaging and our marketing, and we just don't want to lose any momentum that we have in keeping our customers informed and keeping business. Number 2, reason why we should be marketing right now, even if we're not an essential business, people need a diversion, okay, from the news. I spent the first, I don't know, 65 days chronicling numbers and news stories and photos, and it was exhausting, and I realized what a strain it was putting on me. And I honestly needed a diversion from the news and from CBSN that's running all day. And I watched 5 different news channels. I found TikTok. I can do the TikTok dance already. So TikTok is getting ready for advertising too, just so you know. But it let me get out of my own head and out of my COVID space, you know, and I can shop for patio umbrellas now, hoping for delivery. And there's just a lot of things that you can do with your social to bring people up, to provide, you know, a positive note. Share a puppy. You know, everyone, I don't know who doesn't like puppies. You know, just don't use the hashtag dogs of Instagram and you should be fine. So it's a diversion, but it's also our normal, and I won't say new normal because I don't believe that, but it's our normal for right now to learn how to talk to these people who are distracted by so much other business. So maybe your business is not essential. Maybe you're not a need, as we say in the marketing strategy, but more of a want. Maybe you're not a need, but more of a want. So a lot of our society has been holding back on their wants. They have instead been spending on needs. And many in our society have been in a financially comfortable enough position based on either subsidies, PPP, unemployment, and the stimulus checks, that they have been able to give back in this time of need to many, many, many nonprofit organizations. So again, with the nod to my nonprofits, people are giving. People do want to hear from you. And you know, what better way to provide a distraction than to get someone to donate to a cause that they support and believe in? So that kind of diversion, you know, is really important to people. And I think right now the economy is at a point where spending has opened up and people are spending more money on non-essentials. Like I mentioned, I'm looking for a patio umbrella. I'm not just getting a little round one for my table. No, I want to get like a 15 by 9 foot for most of my deck, because I'm having my deck stained in August from my stimulus check. So see, I'm recycling that money out into the community. And who's going to get my attention? The people who are on social media, which I'm on, granted, more than the average person. The people who are talking to me, telling me their hours, or the business whose website I click on, who has no COVID update, no new hours, no policies, procedures, and you know that they're not taking reservations. And so there are businesses that haven't even updated their websites to say that they're closed. My son booked a dolphin jet ski tour, paid for it online, made the appointment, got there, and the business was closed because of COVID. Figure that one out. All right, so diversion, also helpful and relevant information. You have to choose which side of the river you're going to stand on and which expert, in quotes and italics and underline in bold, you are going to support, which expert opinion.
Excuse me again, please. I don't think your slides are moving forward.
I haven't moved any yet.
Okay.
We're still talking about inform. Thank you, though, for pointing that out. We're just about ready to click.
Okay.
But so I lost my thing here. Relevant. Oh, yeah. You choose what sources you want to share from. You may believe the CDC. You may believe the State Health Department. You may believe the SBA. But you choose who those sources are, and you help your customers learn more about what they're facing and what they can be doing based on those sources that you're sharing. And especially if it's good news sources. If numbers are down in your county, that's good news. You're okay to share that out to people. So a little bit more about being sensitive here. This is Walpole Outdoors, and I'm not sure exactly what they make, but I'm thinking it's some sort of outdoor living furniture or something. So they actually, this is a Facebook post, but they created an image with centered text, which you should never do because it's hard to read. But if you look down into this a little way, it says strictly adhering to CDC policies. Okay, if I am that person who wants to know that when I go to my local hardware store, they will ask me to wear a mask, they will enforce masks, and they will be wearing masks themselves, this information makes it perfect for me to understand what's going on. And now again, I like to see both sides of the pancake. So people who are looking at this and saying, as of right now, our locations are closed, strictly adhering to CDC policies. That might be the side of the river that says, well, I'm not going to shop there then. You know, and there's nothing you can do about that. There is nothing you can do about that. And right now, the biggest struggle we're having in Michigan is with compliance. And there is a state mandate that you must wear a mask to enter a store, but I'm going to have a hard time turning away customers because they refuse to wear a mask because I need the money. So it's tough out there, but understand your audience. Know that this is a politically charged time, and whoever side, quote unquote, you take, you will be known for, and your business brand will be known for. So understand your audience. If you have to use waffle words to maintain, you know, your unbiased opinion of things, then use waffle words. If you really don't feel strongly about coming out and supporting the CDC or the WHO or the World Health Organization or whoever, then don't do it. Don't talk about it, because if you don't believe it, you should be talking about it for your business. So understand your audience. Which side of the river are they on, and are they likely to appreciate your efforts in communicating what you're doing to them, or are they likely to not appreciate your efforts because they don't like your policies and procedures? Being helpful means putting things like your real hours out there, putting your contact information out there, putting your COVID-19 policies and procedures on your website and maybe on a banner and on your Facebook business page, and referring people to other businesses. This has been one that's been very cool, in that businesses have been working together a lot throughout this. So for example, a local business called Colors and Cocktails, she rented her storefront on the downtown Kalamazoo Mall, painted it, had everything in place, had her inventory, and then the COVID hit, and then we had some protests that turned into bigger deals in Kalamazoo, and all her windows got busted out and she couldn't open. And it was a horrible time for a brand new business person. But she did not stop. She didn't even pause for a beat. She immediately got in touch with other businesses that she felt were of like-minded products. And, you know, Colors and Cocktails is a pretty logical, easy audience to determine, but she didn't. She went beyond that. She worked with a florist and a winery and a lavender farm and a perfumery, and she created these gift kits that were DIY, I don't even know because I don't do it. Do-it-yourself kits. She sold them through her Facebook page. You had to visit one of the locations. You paid online and you had to visit the location for contactless pickup. And you were given an instruction sheet with where and when to log in on a Facebook Live event. And all the people who bought these boxes all logged in together, and they got a painting lesson and they got to learn about wine. You know, so that was really helpful out there. But don't just post stuff to be posting. I see a lot of folks, and I am going to answer this later, a lot of folks posting every day, 3, 4, 5 times a day for some of your brands. You've got to be exhausted. You've got to be exhausted. Think about your post before you hit post too, and spell check. If you know your writing is not strong, don't go live posting on Facebook. Go type it up in a Word document, maybe walk away, come back and look at it, see what's missing. It really does take some thought and some planning to write a good social media post. Now, another thing that you can do to be reassuring throughout all of this is to keep telling people what you are doing to keep your staff safe, to keep your customers safe, to make your business stay open or help your business stay open. Or maybe if that's not your message, maybe you're actually closing and you need to tell people that. This is a place too where I get this question frequently. What if I'm going to, let's say I'm a small bakery. I'm a small bakery, small local bakery here in town, and I cannot cease production. I have to make the bread or it goes bad. And so I have all this bread and I have nothing to do with it. So I decide I'm going to donate that bread to frontline workers, and maybe I'll find, you know, a meat company or a meat packer and see if they'll go in on, you know, some lunch meat, and just try to put together, you know, a nice gift basket. But I'm not going to mention that on Facebook because that would be like blowing my own horn. Right? Which is exactly what you pay marketing experts to do for you. The fact that we won't brag on ourselves is not uncommon. But if you are doing something like that, it's reassuring to people. It's reassuring that there are still good people out there. And it makes your brand look really good. And very few people, I mean, I've only seen maybe 1 or 2 COVID ads that really take, or product ads that really take advantage of the messaging. You know, but otherwise, I understand if you're doing something great, the news even wants to know about it. So why shouldn't we tell, you know, our own people? And then with nonprofits, that world is so up in the air. You know, what can we do with that? We are relying on the emotional appeal to our donors, and we cannot meet face to face with our donors, with our volunteers, with boards, with stakeholders. I mean, SCORE, our SCORE organization, has been holding Zoom meetings, and we don't even do face-to-face mentoring anymore. But there's still ways that you can get those people engaged. You can get those donors, and you can get those Facebook page fans and those Insta followers. You know, and actually, honestly, I keep hearing this might not be a bad time to tap into the altruistic values of those people who maybe don't normally donate to your cause. Again, I want to be very sensitive here and say that there is a great deal of our population in our country who is not faring well through the financial trials that we're having. And I want to be really conscious of that because I understand that. But then there's another segment of people who are cushioning their nest egg, who are paying down their college debt, who are having a down payment on a house, who are leasing a car, who have extra expendable income. And for those people, it's important that you are in front of them at the right place, at the right time, and that you give them a philanthropic opportunity to support their community. Hard time to be raising money for, you know, Peace Corps or world programs when you have so much to do here at home. And so a lot of nonprofits have shifted gears and have come back and said, okay, we decided we're going to support this local food bank. Then they run a fundraiser and all the money goes to the food bank, and the food bank looks great and the people get food and they look good. So consider, you know, some of your major donors may still have money because they built it into their budget. And if no one's asking for that, potentially that could be you.
Okay, Cheri?
I'm going to stop right there for questions.
Yes, if you could talk, I don't really have a particular question here, although people were curious about some steps that it would take to develop the communication skill, the communication, let's say the communication palette. Like, how would you decide what you were going to use?
Oh, good question. You would follow my 5-step marketing strategy. I talked about this a couple weeks ago. Basically, what you want to do is you want to set a goal, and that goal needs to be measurable. And if that goal is to sell 3 products for curbside pickup and sell $500 worth of those products by the end of July, then you have a measurable goal. The second thing you need to plan is who's your target audience. And you can see right here, we're talking about understanding your audience. Who is most likely to use, buy, donate to your product service organization? So that's your audience. And you're going to target your audience as closely as you can by identifying who those people likely are. The third step is to plan your approach. Here you need to think about, what do we have available? Do we have someone that can update our website? Do we have someone doing our social media? Do we have someone that can monitor comments or messages coming in? So you plan for what it's going to look like. And remember, we're only focused on one thing at a time. We're not running the whole business through this example. We're talking about one chance to sell 3 products online for the month of July. So we have our goal, we have our target audience, we have a plan for what we need to do to meet that goal, and then we will have some tactics or strategies or actually how we're going to implement it. And we will decide, you know, what we want, what channels we want to be on, what content will be out there. Then, and only then, do we go to messaging. And when we get to messaging, we take all those previous things into consideration, and we tell people the who, the what, the where, the when, the why, if there is one, and the how. Who, what, where, when, why, how. If you've ever had to write a media release, a news release, that's how they're written. But that's the 6 pieces that go into planning just what you're going to write. And then there's another tip that I really like on this content creation, and that's to go from the brick to the feather method. So let's say, for example, I have a client who is doing a high-tech industry brain workshop webinar series. So they're going to help these high-tech inventors get off the ground with their product and service. So what they did was they gave me, I wrote for them, they gave me everything they had about this program. And so I literally wrote, I don't know, 150-word description, the who, what, where, when, why, how, the date, the time, the location, how to register, who to call for further questions. That's what I call the brick. Okay, that brick is like something you would send out to the newspaper or the radio station. It's every possible thing you could want to know about this 3-product sale that you're going to have through July. Then I take the brick and I bring it down to a feather, because if I'm on Twitter, I only have a feather's worth of characters to use. So I call my social post from that bigger piece, and I make sure that it still has the pertinent information, and it's got lots of action words and lots of emotional words in it. And then I use those shortened versions to be my posts for that particular topic. And can you post the same post more than once? Yes, because I don't know about you, but I do not remember reading a post 3 weeks ago about XYZ product coming in 3 weeks. I want to know about XYZ product coming today. I want to know about it's coming tomorrow. I want to know about, you know, for the next few days until it's here, I want to know. So that's a good question. I hope that helps a little bit. So that's the how do you develop content and how often do you post? And that's coming up next. So with that, if you don't have any other questions, Miriam?
No, not right now, but thank you.
All right, we'll keep rolling and I'll get to more of the questions as we move along. So how often should you post? And, you know, I like to say that's a depends answer, because it depends on your industry. It depends on if you have anything to say. It depends on who's doing it. And it depends on just so many factors, you know, what business you're in. If you are a rock star or you're running for a public office, probably posting more than once a day. If you are a small business with carryout that opens from 4 to 9 p.m. 5 days a week, you may only need 1 post a day. If you have to post more, 3 to 5 times a week, I feel, is a pretty good average for most small businesses to try to keep up with on their own without contracting with an agency like mine. 3 to 5 posts a week is a lot of effort, and you'll find that when you start going into that. So it depends on if anybody's reading your stuff. You know, I have another friend who posts every single day. but she gets 30, 40 people liking and commenting, and she gets lots of questions and or answers back to her questions. And so if it's working, keep doing it. If it's not working, do something different. Let me go back one because somebody asked about the algorithm. How often you post. Honestly, don't try to trick the algorithm. Don't even try to figure it out, because if you figure it out, they're going to change it. Once we figure out what is really, cutting edge, like 6 or 8 months back, cutting edge SEO was to get the SEO, the search words and the keywords into the titles of the images before you uploaded them on the web. And it's just not something that a small business owner wants to try to game. Just do a good job and follow the rules, and the algorithm will be there. So I think that's important to point out. I've been doing this for 30 years. I don't try to even trick the algorithm. What will get you better results is fresh content, pictures, videos, helpful content, and valid links. That's what Facebook will say is a good algorithm. In addition, I guess I should probably turn my own page. What about paid ads? I am going to do a paid ads workshop next Monday, I think, on using Google Ads. So I think we're getting to the point where we can start spending a little money on Google and beat some of our competitors back up to the top of the list. So similarly to how we talk about the opportunity for organic content or content that we don't really have to pay for, like Facebook posts, Instagram posts, email blasts, due to all the time people are online right now, there's also the opportunity for paid advertising as long as inventory is available. Let me repeat that. If you run an ad, if you don't have inventory available, then you're going to have to be pretty darn careful. And we ran into this with another restaurant over Father's Day. I really wanted to sell gift cards. They had this not Dad's Day, they had a beer club, like Growler Club, something. And I wanted to sell those through an email blast to people on their mailing list. And it came with a gift card, a membership card that you could get free stuff later on in their restaurants and in their breweries. But it also came with like a hat, a t-shirt, a mug. And so we had this all ready to go. It was a Saturday before Father's Day. I had all ready to go. And they said, how are you going to fill these orders? I said, you can't mail this stuff. And the shipper that produces your hats, mugs, glasses, etc., is closed. And they went, oh, yeah, okay. So we pulled that ad, but that would have been a wonderful opportunity to spend maybe $100 or so and to run a Google My Business ad or to run a Facebook ad. And all of these advertising platforms and all of these Facebook, Instagram, everything, you are going to be able, I'm going to show you how to schedule those. I got to hurry through Constant Contact, and I'm just not even getting through my notes very far here. So, but running ads, keep in mind, if you've got the product, you can get the product to them, and you can not run out of the product because you want to deliver. Thinking about social ads can be very helpful. Okay, demo time. This is play along time, and I love this. I am going to share this with you. Oh, it's wanting me to. No, yes. Yes, I'm still working. Don't log me up. All right, Marianne, is this clear?
Yes, you are on Constant Contact.
Beautiful. All right, so this is Constant Contact's platform. And if you go to the home page, you can see a little bit more. But basically, campaigns are email newsletters or news blasts. Contacts is your address book, which also can be a great CRM because you can set up automated emails to these people. You have a reporting tab. So you could, for example, I run SCORE's Constant Contact, and I went in and did a report for people who had never opened a newsletter from the beginning of time. Guess how much my open rate went up when I deleted all of them? You can create sign-up forms that you can drop on your Facebook or your website, another tool. The library is basically where you store all of your images that you're going to use in your posts. come back to that. Integrations is things like WooCommerce, PayPal, Zapier, a lot of different things Constant Contact will play nice with. And then finally, you can make a Constant Contact website in a day, or I can make it in a day. It might take you a day and a half. But we're here to talk about social. So I think, Marianne, do you have a link for folks that want to try Constant Contact for free?
I can get one right there. I'll put it on the chat.
Okay, great. Just insert that in the chat. And since I'm a partner, I get this free trial, but they actually will send a marketing rep your way as soon as you register for the free trial, and they'll go, hey, you came from Cheri, or you came from Hannah Gold Communications. What can we help you set up? They'll set up templates for you. They'll teach you how to use your product. So if you go and you click on that free trial, watch for email from Constant Contact. It is legitimate and it is free. So when you get a message that says, we want to help you, we really do. All right. So our goal today is to show you how to do some of this scheduling for social media on one platform in one place. And in Constant Contact, you almost always start with the create button. And here's what we'll do next week, but here's what we're going to do today. And I'm going to give you a fairly fast run through of how this works. And then I think I have some other resources coming your way in the chat. So the first thing it's telling me is that you don't have your social media accounts attached to here. And that is correct. So it says add a profile. Here's Facebook, here's Instagram. I'm going to connect a new one to show you how it works. So we're going to connect LinkedIn, and I'm going to use both of these. I'm going to try to post to both of these through my Constant Contact. All right, it's fetching profiles. So now I tell it, where do I want to post? And this is my test post. I have a lot of room to fill, period. So I think you have like 63,000 characters on Facebook. So I'm going to write my post. Now remember, I'm going to write my post in Word, and I'm going to make sure I have my phone number right and everything is spelled right. And then I'm going to paste it into here. So I will cut and paste. Then I can add an image. And let's say that I want to promo this workshop or an old workshop. I think I only have old ones. Let's go with this one. I'm just going to find the piece of art which I've uploaded, or I'm going to upload a new file using the upload button. And I'm going to find my piece of artwork, and then I'm going to click insert. So this is now a Facebook post. See the Facebook icon? It's going to Hannah Gold Communications, my Facebook page, which you can all follow if you'd like. And once I'm done, I can either save the draft, I can post now, or I can ding, 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 schedule for later. This is possible on Facebook by itself, I have to tell you. And if you schedule on Facebook and you schedule your post in advance, then they can also go on Instagram. Or if you use a third-party scheduler like Sprout or Hootsuite or something. But having the ability to schedule for later is really urgently important to me. So I have some other profiles linked here. And I'm just going to say, yeah, I want to post to all of those. And then I go, well, wait a minute. I haven't added Twitter yet. Let's see what happens, because when you add Twitter, it's a whole new ballgame. And it helps a lot if you're already signed into these social media apps in the background. So I signed into all of these before I did this. All right, so now we're back here on posts. And because I checked out, I got to go back and create it again. So just a reminder, we're going to create button, social post is coming up. We're going to say communicate on this, and this, and this, and this channel. And then look here, I only have 280 characters. I only have 1,300 characters. Oh, here's Facebook. Okay, you know what? I'm going to create a variation I'm going to make one for LinkedIn, one for Twitter, and one for Facebook. So I can have 63 characters here, and I can keep going ad nauseum. But up here on Twitter, they're going to tell me when my time is up. And so instead of having to do an individual post, remember brick to feather? Facebook's the brick. LinkedIn is kind of the, I don't know, mortar, and Twitter is the feather. So you're able to do all of that in here right now. Sorry, didn't know my phone was on. My children are getting takeout and they want to know if I want anything, but I'm spending the time with you. So once we're done there, we can either save it as a draft or we can post now. Well, I don't really want to post this in spite of how much I like you all. So we are going to deselect this post and we're going to get rid of it. All right, there we go. So I think that really, you have an FAQ over here, Marianne, that says how to connect your Instagram to your Facebook page. You know, I mentioned that you could go to Instagram from Facebook and vice versa. If you could pluck that link into the chat box for us, it's a really nice resource from Constant Contact. All right, so I've got my accounts. I've got Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. My accounts are active. They're also going to show me some information about my post known as analytics. And anyone that's been on one of my webinars before knows that I always talk about measurable objectives in analytics. And so I am actually able, within Constant Contact, again, these aren't going to be very big numbers, you got to know. I'm actually able to select just one profile and look at the data. So I know that in the last 7 days, my reach is down by 83. And I think this is the score. Like I said, there aren't going to be a lot of numbers here. I can see demographics, I can see gender, I can see age. None of these are a surprise to us because we have done our market research and I can see where my clients are coming from. So that's part of Constant Contact. Final part of the social aspect of Constant Contact is managing your messaging. So I know I manage a lot of Facebook pages for a lot of businesses, and it's always a challenge to get to those messages and to respond to those messages. So these are some that I have received, and I don't know. Here, let's go with Zach. I don't know this Zach, but he sent me 2 messages based on a post that I posted on Facebook, and Constant Contact is tracking that because it's tied to my Facebook page. Get that? That makes sense? So inbox, post, analytics, and I know this isn't exactly social media, but I have to show it to you. If you run a campaign, which is also an email newsletter, so you know that's pretty straightforward. And some of you might have gotten this one from me. Hey, Cheri, if you want it, I'll send it to you. Just sign up for my emails. But once I send that, remember we're talking about social, and we're talking about sharing. If I create an email in Constant Contact, I can see my open rate and my click rate. Thank you very much. And the bounces, that's pretty good. And no unsubscribed. Right down here at the bottom are social promotions. So not only does that newsletter go to all of my email contacts, I can now send this to my social channels. Good Lord, I'm popular. I don't even get phone calls ever throughout the day. So I can set this to run like I do with these workshops. I can set this to run 3-4 times, and I can change the information, and I can select right here. I can only select Hannah Gold because that's what I set it up as. but I can change the image, can plug in a new image. Just basically, there's that Lysol post I was telling about. Dear friends, please don't use Lysol. And I can insert that, and I can have any image I want and any message I want. I can have a link. If this happened to be a news, an event invitation, then there would be a link right here to the event. So that gets us through campaigns as well. And then if you come back for some other websites, I'll talk about these other buttons. But in a nutshell, Constant Contact, we've got a couple programs, couple promos going on right now. The base plan, I think, is $20 a month. If you're going to advertise and other stuff like that, you can pay, I think, $45 a month. Just a ton of great deals right now. And Constant Contact has been so, you know, I praise their service all the time. You can talk to someone on the phone just about any time you want, and they'll fix something for you if you broke it yourself. They'll be like, here, you log out, let me log in. Okay, how's that? Is that better? But they have pivoted so quickly since April, since March, actually. Even in March, they were bringing out new tools like the website. Like they now have shoppable landing pages where you can sell things. They have added surveys. They're revamping their events tool. And that tool is what I use to register all of you for today's events. And we looked at social posts and ads, email automations, not just on birthdays or anniversaries, but whenever you want. And I'm learning how to do that because it's a few steps. And then obviously emails. And don't think an email has to be 5 feature stories and 6 pages of updates from the director. No, an email can just be short and sweet and say, hey, let's go do something. So I know Marianne's got a link to send you. I'm going to hop back out to our webinar, and I'm going to bounce out and back in. All clear?
Yes.
Okay. So as we're winding up, and like I said, I still have a few questions that I want to address. I'm going to give you some things to remember, and then I'm going to show you a little bit about the tools that are available from Constant Contact, and I will share another link with you. So basically the questions I have left, one here from Julie is how to get more engagement from the community. I think I mentioned that I have a client who posts a question or something on her Facebook page as a mental health counselor every single day. Well, what she does is she asks questions, all right? So she asks her followers a question. What's the one thing you didn't do over the 4th of July that you really wish you had done? Well, we can all answer that, and people do. That's engagement, okay? When you're looking at your Facebook insights or your social media insights, you're not so worried about reach. What really gets me excited is engagement. Engagement is those people who took the time and made the effort to click or like or comment or share on your post. Not the same as page likes. They like whatever you posted. In order of popularity, videos by far, 40-second videos by far are the best thing ever for getting engagement. I'll tell you, I'll give you two, I'll give you one. I'll give you one little secret for free. And that is to join as your page, to go out and find and join lost pet Facebook groups in your area. And then when appropriate, don't overdo it, but when appropriate, share one of those posts and see how much your engagement numbers go up, because everyone shares lost dog posts. Make sure that the dog is still lost before you share it. Nothing's dumber than sending out a, oh, lost dog, please help, and someone saying they found this in 2017. So check your data. Engagement is questions, videos, pictures, polls, surveys, shares to other articles. Basically just take people away from your Facebook page. Shares to your website can get engagement. You want people to pick up their hand, put it on the mouse or the keyboard, and actually do something. And that's called your call to action. So that's how I would get more engagement. How to make it simpler. Carol, I think Constant Contact makes it fairly simple. I think there are other tools that are inexpensive, like Hootsuite, that allows you to do posts to multiple social media accounts at the same time. And none of those runs very much, but then you can get into some much more powerful tools, Agorapulse, Sprout Social. I don't use them, so I don't know them, but you can get into some really, really expensive things. Suzanne asked a question. My product is for seniors. How do I target other companies that serve this population? That is a great question. That is a business to business, all right? And you're looking for referrals. And what you need to do to get referrals is to give people the information they need to tell other people about you. So your time could be spent on LinkedIn doing some reconnaissance, finding people in the businesses or in the industries that you feel you need to target. So it could be, in this case, I'm thinking it's a lift of some sort by the name of your business. In this situation, I would be making friends with rehab facilities, with home health care, with assisted living facilities, and I would be looking for the person that makes the referrals or the social worker or whomever would make a referral to you for their client, or who would purchase your product on behalf of their clients. And old people are on Facebook. We are out there. The fastest growing audience, at least before COVID, fastest growing Facebook audience, the data supported, was 64 plus women. I'm not quite there, but so that audience is there. And, you know, if we think of many products for married families or cohabiting families with a husband and a wife, frequently the wife is the buying decision maker. So you might want to target your ads more toward women, or more toward needs that men have that women will try to meet. Does that make some sense? More engagement from seniors. What's a good strategy to having an effective Instagram and Facebook campaign? That's called an editorial calendar. And an editorial calendar basically outlines, can just be a spreadsheet, basically outlines for you and your team what your big push topic is for July. So let's say that you have a topic, meet the caregivers. Let's say our home health care, meet the caregivers. So throughout the month of July for Meet the Caregivers, a lot of your posts, not all, but a lot of your posts highlight people who work for your company. And your strategy then is to get people comfortable looking at people they know. And people like to see pictures of people they know, so be sure that you're using pictures with that. So then your strategy narrows down and drills down to what messaging do I want on what channels and at what time. And I don't schedule out times too much on my editorial calendar because I had a year's worth of content for 3 clients that's useless now, and it was all scheduled out in January. So things have really changed. But the strategy is pick a messaging platform, or pick a measurable goal that you think you can meet with your business, and then talk about that with purpose and with strategy, and provide resources and give your professional opinions, and lead people to your website where they can learn more about the topics that you're talking about, or to your sales page, or to your donor page if you happen to be doing donations. So please remember that you should be using social media. I think I've probably made that clear, right? That we need to be using social media. Don't try to do more platforms than you can logically manage, though. You did not get into business as a business owner to do social media. You got into business to do business. So don't try and be everywhere. Find what you're good at. Find where you have followers. I had a SCORE client one time, and she had everyone you can think of, right down to Foursquare. I mean, Yelp, TripAdvisor, 47 different channels or so that she was trying to keep up on. So we sat down and we made a chart and we said, okay, here are the followers you have here. Here's how much time you spend each month here. Here's how often you post here. And what she determined was that she was posting the same amount to the channel, whether she was getting any return on her investment or not. So once we were able to set up a logical call to action that let her see what people were reading based on their performance or their behaviors or where they happen to go on the website or Facebook, then she could be strategic about it. So the good strategy is important. If you can get it in writing, it's even better. Be sensitive, be helpful, and be reassuring. I see enough negative quotes on my Facebook that, again, flowers, puppies, it's welcome relief. But this is about you and your business and what you want to tell people about your business and what you want to tell people about your beliefs and your policies and procedures. But if you can be helpful and provide people the information they need to buy from you, the information they need to donate to you, the information they need to find you, the information they need to pick something up from you, then you have lots to talk about, and you can do that. And finally, if you're interested in saving some time and effort doing these, you can use an aggregator, very similar. Well, you can use the Constant Contact aggregator because that's what I'm here to talk about. But there are others that you could compare and look at as you move through. So I think also, Marianne, can you pop this small business support kit link into the chat box? Because Constant Contact has given us this great little small business action plan that we can use. And
Certainly.
I would really like to send that out to you. Marianne, I sent you a list of these links, I think, in the pre-webinar moderator sheet that I sent. Great. So if you can find that one, that would be wonderful. And then, here it is in a recap. Lots of, I wouldn't say all of, pretty much, pretty close. Lots of your online marketing needs in one place. Remember, there's always email blasts, long format email. An email blast can be, we're open. Don't forget we're open. Don't forget we have curbside tonight from 4 to 9. Don't forget we have growlers available to order online. Don't forget it's Father's Day and a gift card would make it great. That's what I mean by email, not these long, drawn out 700 links, 5,000 word story emails. Websites, if your business doesn't have an online presence and it needs to get online and it needs to do so pretty quickly and you're not a web designer, you can more than likely knock out a Constant Contact website in a day or two. I think I mentioned that earlier. Wix, GoDaddy, WordPress, all great platforms. I have nothing wrong with any of them, but I just don't think that they are as intuitive or as straightforward or honestly as simple as the Constant Contact platform. Yes, they make logos. Yes, we can do social ads, which will be next week. And yes, we can do social media. So pretty much everything you need is all here in one place at one time. And here's the link to try that for free. And on behalf of SCORE, it looks like we're a few minutes early. So certainly I apologize for those phone ringings. They ordered a tuna melt on sourdough for me. So see, I didn't even have to answer the phone. Thanks to SCORE for hosting these. This is our 17th, 16th, 15th webinar. I'm not entirely sure. I'm just going to keep doing them until someone yells stop. And as long as y'all keep signing up and registering, I'm going to keep doing them. So like I said, watch for next week's, which will also focus on the Constant Contact platform for a little bit about how to run those Google ads for Google My Business. You have my email right here. You have my website right here. If you can spell Cheri Bales, you're in good shape. And you also have the SCORE. It's just score.org. If you are not a SCORE client, or if you are interested in being a SCORE mentor, go to that address, click on Find a Mentor, put in your zip code, or click on Be a Volunteer, put in your zip code, and we would love to have you either way. SCORE is for the life of your business, and we have teenagers who have started root beer stands all the way up to multi-million-dollar companies who have sold their business at large profits. So SCORE volunteers, SCORE mentors, we don't really care where you are in your business process. We want to talk to you. And Marianne, that's all I have.
I thank everyone for joining us, and hopefully you were able to walk away with some information that will be useful. You can look back on some of the links and see if there's something that you have a question about. Cheri would be happy to answer those questions. But I do want to recommend that you visit our Southwest Michigan SCORE, so swmi.score.org, and you can learn a little bit more about us and some of the other programs that we will continue to host. Thank you for joining us.
See you next time.